Schnikes. Marisol McKee is here. What up, girl?
Hey.
Hey. Hello. I'm Alex Mack, part of the Call to Action crew, and I have the lovely Lady Justice over here, Miss Marisol McKee, representing Korruption, one of the best factions out there, and recently, technically, as of now, well, maybe not technically right now, but ranked #1 in the stats. So you've got to be not only super proud, but also really excited, be able to contribute and really kind of push it over the edge to get the #1.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's the cherry on top of a win. Of course, when you're a rookie, you want to make the best impression and make a name for yourself. But yeah, that was just a little cherry, the silver lining to be like, oh yeah, and we squeaked into #1 because of that. That made it pretty awesome.
Pretty beautiful moment for sure. I was just like cheering. I was like, oh, Marisol, get it, yes.
Yeah, I was just happy to make my team really, really proud. I just wanted to.
Well, this is your first season playing in Schmodown, obviously. You're a rookie from the fan leagues. I remember meeting you in Orlando last fall, which feels like 10 years ago, honestly, with everything going on right now.
Yeah.
But, how does it feel being part of this faction family? Does it feel like a family? Does it not? Does it feel like an actual team? Like, how does it feel for you as a not really having any kind of association with any other groups as of now?
Yeah, I was excited. Of course, at first just to be drafted into it. But I still kind of geographically, I live in Philly. Don't let the Chicago map fool you. I live in Philadelphia. So geographically, I felt on like the opposite side of the world from this universe, even after I was drafted initially. And then it's just a testament to my faction family. It's just that has been just eroded, just melted away. I could say genuinely that I do feel like I'm part of a family. I really do. Like every effort has been made to realize that we're all vastly different kind of players. But we're the Brady Bunch, and we're a ragtag group, and we all serve a role, and no matter whether that's being like a superstar, multiple belt winning vet, and legend of the game, or a completely green like fan leaguer. We all matter, and that I can genuinely say that's a feeling that I've gotten coming into this, that has been built by the direct actions of both my manager and the other members of my faction. So I'm right at home, baby. I'm where I want to be.
Well, if there's ever
Fiji, yeah. I don't care. I could be in Timbuktu, and I would still feel like right next to these people. It's cool.
Well, that's something I've heard from so many competitors, not just you, have really described, being part of their own factions, is that being part of a faction, you can get from it as much as you want. If you want to be part of a faction family and you're actively interacting with your faction mates and your manager and everything, that's great. Awesome. Good for you. But there's also some people that are like, it's, when it comes, they like to do their own studying. They don't like to be part of that. They're just like, okay, it's cool. I'm here to contribute and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm here for myself. I'm here to like do my own thing, regardless who I'm a part of. So it's just kind of, there's a lot of different types of personalities and dynamics, between newer competitors, rookies like yourselves, older ones, and, everywhere in between, for sure.
It is. And I have to completely admit that before this, I definitely was more of a lone wolf type. I was completely one of those people who's just like, this is what I love, and this is what I'm going to do. And that was a very just solitary experience for me. In terms of studying, I would have I spent my life I would love having conversations with people, but specifically my approach initially was that this is me. This is my goal that I need to achieve. I am tasked only it's in my best interest to build myself up by myself in this. And that change, that mentality that that did change, becoming part of this faction. I changed in that regard. I realized that there's another option to this. There's another route that actually that breeds a lot of life. It gives me breeds a new angle into my knowledge and how I build my knowledge. It rejuvenated me in a sense. Being able to just bounce my knowledge off of other people who are just as knowledgeable and just as passionate about it. Was like
take it seriously.
And take it seriously.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's not like a casual hobby. It's like you're in it, you know?
Yeah. And really, live it and breathe it and love it. Like being able to bounce that energy, that passion and that knowledge off of others just really kind of boosted everything. It was just a mad like level up in terms of my motivation, in terms of my focus. Yeah. That's all I can say about that.
Well, that's completely true. Yeah, it helps really being part of that family really kind of helps it can be a real big motivator for sure. Like you have someone that really helps you hold yourself accountable, you know, and, you know, so, cause you know, I personally, you know, cause I used to work in HR and let's face it, people in HR at different companies and stuff, you know, weren't always the most liked, let's be honest, considering it was our job to get people in trouble to a certain extent. But, you know, it just came down to different people had different ways of motivation. Some people don't need someone over their shoulder to keep them on point and, you know, to stay focused and study and, you know, take things seriously, you know, keep that mindset. But some people do. Some people need that person to be like, hey, you studying? Are you studying? Are you studying? Are you studying? You know, sometimes they do need that. I just gotta help them, you know, keep their head in the game. But everyone's absolutely different. Also, you know, being with someone like Shannon, like, you know, she's a pretty chill person. You know, no big deal. You know,
yeah.
Yeah, she's fabulous. I love Shannon for sure. I do want to mention everyone in the chat. If you're coming over from the big live events and everything that just happened between Dan Morrow, Ethan Irwin, Shazam, and Final Exam. Oh my gosh, what a great match! We are going to be diving into that. We're just gonna do our quick initial reactions, but we're not going to go big deep dives into it or anything. We're going to be saving that towards the very end. Just want to let you know. Just want to mention real quickly. You know, Patrick Harden, he says, hard to believe I just left the post-match Patreon interviews to switch to a podcast I never heard before. Oh, thanks for dropping by. But Lady Justice made that much of an impression.
Aw.
Yeah. Well, I think, Patrick, you were definitely not alone. I remember when your match dropped, everyone, when your promo and everything was dropped by the MTS Twitter feed, you know, everyone was like, myself included, were like, can we start a Marisol McKee fan club? I mean, is she amazing? Like, can I marry her? She was like, oh my gosh, she's fantastic. So, I mean, how did that kind of feel? Like, knowing the match has already been filmed, obviously, but you're kind of seeing this kind of influx of, you know, positivity, you know, from fans.
Is there a stronger word for overwhelmed? I don't know. I mean, I ain't no wordsmith, but yeah, it is. I think I'm already pretty emotional, but like, it made my heart race. It just made my heart expand. It makes everything worth it. It's just the most humbling and magical experience like you can ask for. You know, when you're surrounded by that much positive energy and just when you, just speaking for me, like when you love something and you care about something and you just want to, there was a really big pressure that I put on myself before this to just give people something that they deserve, give the fans something that they deserve. As a fan, as a longtime movie trivia Schmodown fan myself, like, you know, like I knew what I wanted, what fired me up about the show, and I knew what I loved about it and what kept me coming back. And what just made made my heart race and just make me want to scream to the rafters about the show. And I mean, I can only hope that I would do something, something remotely. If I could do a fraction of that level for the people watching it, then I'll die happy. I just wanted to give fans something that they deserve for being the most awesome fucking fans in the world. And I hope I just tried my best, and to see that people reacted well to it, that I was getting good feedback from it, it's really indescribable. It's I wish I had something cooler to say than that, but I just
it comes down to I think the idea is that we don't have that. We do have a few female rookies. You're also, as far as I can remember, the first female competitor from the fan leagues to really jump in and shine. But also, I don't want to talk about it as like, oh, the first female this, first female that. It's just that, it's, even that aside, I mean, I think it was just a really great introduction to, Lady Justice and the persona and everything, the costume, the blindfold. I was so here for it. I was so excited. Real quickly over to the chat again as well. Hey, Lady Justice. Yes. Congratulations on the win from Mr. Canada Rocks. What up? Yeah. And it was like Mr. Galagos himself. Yes, the ghost himself from Korruption. It says C2A map behind you. Sorry, the dungeon. I apologize. Yeah, the CTA map behind you. Minute I saw that, I knew I liked you. Chicago love. What's your favorite part of Chicago? I know we chat prior, but I'm gonna leave it to you.
Okay. Oh right, that's right. So oh no, is this gonna be the beginning of the end? This is gonna be like she lied to us.
The heel Marisol coming out.
This is my true corruption. Yeah. Part showing. I am full disclosure. I am not from Chicago, nor do I live in Chicago. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm in Philly right now. This map behind me, this was not meant to mislead or mess with anybody. I'm staying with my sister, and she lived in Chicago, and she and her husband love Chicago. It's their favorite place in the world. They adore it. So they have a giant map of, I guess, the public transit system of Chicago behind them. So that's the reason why there's Chicago behind me. And this was one of the only places in the house that I could actually have a quiet place to broadcast. That's as interesting as that story gets.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one to judge about misrepresenting, where you're from and cities and stuff, because I have like random, like metro maps around my house of like Tokyo and France and like London and stuff. So I can't really be the one to be like, that sounds lame.
No. I mean, it is pretty egregious. Sorry, Ghost. I didn't mean to let you down with that. I have gone to Chicago because my mom lives there and works there. Chicago is, if I didn't live in Philly, I'm born and raised in Philly. And if I didn't live in Philly, the second city in this country I would live in is Chicago. I'll say that. There you go. I'll say that.
I do like missions to Chicago. That's my job.
Beautiful. It's huge. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's vibrant. The music, the drinks, every time I've been there has been a phenomenal experience. So
it's always a fun time for sure. It's not a boring city.
No.
I live in St. Louis, and I love St. Louis. I do. I've lived here for a majority of my life, but at the same time, I know it has its faults, and that includes it's a very boring city by comparison to a lot of like Chicago and Pittsburgh and Boston and stuff like that. So, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. Real quickly again, over to Canada Rocks again. Marisol, your character work is fantastic. Do you have a theater background? Love how you and Bonnie were polar opposites. We're actually going to dive into that later, but you want to address that like real quickly right now? I mean, like, do you have any that kind of acting background or anything?
No, no, I guess I just watch too many damn movies.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, right. I could be an actor. I watch movies all the time.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
I've just watched movies since I was a little tyke, and I I just absorb everything that I love, and I think that includes maybe, I don't know, actors, comedians, their mannerisms, the things that work, the things that just, I was like, that was a great moment. That was a great character moment. I think when you watch that constantly for years and years and years, and you absorb those and you internalize those kind of things that you thought were just so memorable and so iconic and so cool, I think that becomes part of your person. I think that becomes something that you then push back out when the moment calls for it, maybe. But that's where it is for me. I mean, I'm a film student.
You are?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. For like production and editing, because I love editing.
Cool.
Never tried to be in front of the camera, but I really do really love everything behind it. So I don't know, maybe acting would be cool too.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people change their careers and everything, a lot of in the middle of their life, and if without any kind of background, in that, just doing like complete 180. So who knows? And not to mention, it must have been fun actually making it. Were you super nervous actually making the promo? Did you do like 10 different versions of it? And then we're like, okay, I'm gonna send like these two over.
I did.
I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, I didn't take the promo lightly. I mean, how could you take it lightly? This is my first impression to the world. Nobody knows who the hell I am. Like, this is my first impression, and those first impressions last for eternity. And for better or for worse, and I love this, and I was so excited, but I was also completely nervous in so many ways about this. And like I said, I take the character stuff. I take everything important for like what I wanted to deliver to people watching this, and not just answering questions, but yeah, the character work too. Like that was very, very important to me too. And I was just like, I just wanted to strike the right balance. Definitely did a couple takes on everything in my promo. Just to get that right mix of cold but not like too distant. Like you still want to be me and still try to be I don't know, a little charming. I don't know. Yeah, definitely a lot of takes on the promo. But I'm happy with what I sent. I sent in a bunch of stuff, and I knew that they were gonna take out a lot of it.
They're going to edit away.
It was just going to put away. That's the editing process. That was realistic. So I just gave him a lot of options. I was just like, Eric, I just wanted him to just do whatever he wanted with it. I just wanted to give him options.
Cool. Yeah. Essentially, please make me look cool.
But yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. And did you come up with the name Lady Justice?
I did. I was really big. I had been squeaking and squawking, sending my little emails for months about my character. I was really adamant from early on about like doing something like judge related. I wanted to be some kind of. I had a silly idea to just be like not silly, but just to like be more of a like on the nose kind of judge. And then it just evolved and kind of expanded. I bounced some ideas off of Shannon. And then it kind of grew from there. And then actually more recently, like up until like, I think almost like 3 weeks before my debut match with Bonnie, I was like, Lady Justice. Like it just clicked. It just like I woke up in the middle of the night. Like it was like one of those like moments. But I was like the Justice. I adore Wonder Woman so much that like I had this idea in my mind about just I I just have the idea of somebody powerful, you know, like I don't want to come out and try to act like a superhero, because Lady Justice really isn't necessarily a superhero, but she's powerful and intimidating in her own right. Like she has this factor. My intention was for her to have some other kind of there's some otherworldly quality about her, which is not quite here with all of us.
She's on a higher level, on a higher plane for sure.
She's just in her own like she's some kind of entity separate from me and you. That this world of mortals here. But yeah, so it was a combination of that. And I love the idea of like blindfolds. I really, really loved that idea so badly. So yeah. So
and not to mention, you're not the first competitor to do the whole blindfold thing. You know, it would be kind of funny if you actually did that during a match, just like Roka did, like during like season 3, season 4. Like that'd be, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be kind of hilarious. That'd be kind of awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Canada Rocks, for your donation. Really appreciate it. And Galagos, real quickly replies, "Your ability speaks louder. No letdown."
Thanks,
what a cool
man.
dude. We are going to be diving into the match real quickly after this last question. So, let's say Stalin Moose, thank you so much for your donation. Paul Oyama had a tough night tonight. How do you feel about your matchup with him? You were awesome yesterday.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Stalin Moose. Yeah, I think I said it in my Bonnie match too, and I still feel that way about it. I'm so excited to play Oyama. It's going to be a challenge. And it is everything that I've wanted. Like I want a challenge. I want, ideally would I want to go all the way to like one of the best competitors in the whole thing and play them like right away. Maybe not. I mean, that wouldn't be my first choice, but it's a path that's in front of me. Like, it's what I got, and it's a path that's in front of me, and I'm not going to shy away from this. I'm not going to shy away from this opportunity. I'm going to grab it by the horns. And I am excited. It's an opportunity for me. I'm nervous. But I just want to go there. I just want it to be me and him. I just want to just play him and just give it all I got. I feel that if I focus, it really does come down to the wheel. With that, I think I know that enough from watching enough of these matches and watching players that even people think like, oh, that person's going to crush that person. But then when it comes down to the wheel, that changes a lot about the game.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm out of his league. I don't think I'm outmatched. I think I could. I think I could give him a run for his money. And I do think that just it would come down. I really want a good spin in the second round. Because I feel like that could change a lot about this. And I really do think I have a chance. And I have a chance because I believe in myself and I know I can. So that right there tells me that I have a chance to beat him.
Absolutely.
So I do.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention I technically, you going up against Oyama, obviously, if you were to win, it would be considered a huge upset. He's a former singles champion. He's, right now, one of the best teams, right now. But also at the end of the day, the man is human. I know Salamus, like you said earlier, he's had a tough night. He's had some tough matches where it's just like, he lost to like Roka, his IG match was neither here or there. So obviously the man is human, but also at the end of the day, we're going to be diving into your match. And obviously, I don't know if you can see my cat. Yeah, my cat's right there.
Oh yeah. I see the kitty.
Yeah. So want to say hi? Want to say hi, girl?
What's her name?
Her name is Judo.
Judo.
Little baby Judo.
Oh.
Yes, girl. Sorry, off topic. I apologize.
No, animals are never off topic. Animals are love.
Animals are always the topic, actually. The thing is, after we're going to be diving into your match, and it really proved, you were for being a rookie, you were a very confident competitor, which is kind of rare, I would have to say, because sometimes you might feel rushed, or you could see the anxiety. You're like freaking out a little bit. You're moving around a lot, but you're like so calm and chill. Where I really didn't expect that kind of focused demeanor, if that makes sense. You're just so, it's so Sanser. No big deal. JTE.
I have to be honest. No disrespect to Bonnie, but it was a lot easier to be that way knowing that I was playing Bonnie for my play-in match.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm obviously gonna put it out there, like, because it's not a secret, it's not like how dare she? What is she talking about? Like,
how dare she?
Somebody suggesting that Bonnie, won't win. I don't know, but no disrespect, she is so fun. She is so lovable, and that was so much fun. I could have asked for a more fun opponent to play against in an opening match. That was a godsend, playing against somebody as fun and exciting and interesting as Bonnie.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about Bonnie Somerville, obviously we don't really talk about her as being like the most strategic competitors or whatever maybe, but she is one of the biggest personalities that she's been on SEN. She's, even though she hasn't technically won a match, she's been in several matches before, and she's always like a big personality. She's almost like Makuga in that way, the wild man, where it's like, technically there you got to like talk about the knowledge and everything, but you're also there for the personality as well, and she is definitely like bringing it to a 12 out of 10. That's for sure. Okay, so let's just kind of go over to our so let's get started on the match now. Guys, if you have any questions, particular questions, comments, or anything you would like to ask Marisol or myself, please let us know in the Streamlabs. We really appreciate it. Super chats are also amazing. Thank you so much for donating through there. Thing is, super chats also, they take away 30% of everything that is donated. So Streamlabs, however, doesn't take anything. So we definitely prefer that. So if you can, please and thank you. But yeah. Oh, sorry, I just saw one of your messages. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, so let's gonna go over to just get started on this match real quickly. Okay. Dun dun dun. Okay. Let's see how many Bud Light commercials we go for this one. And please let me know if the volume is okay. Okay. Now, that's like no volume at all. Whoopsie. Now we are going to be just chatting over this just to let you know. Oh, whoopsie daisy. There we go. Now we can chat over this match. We're here to talk about you. We're here to chat you up in particular. We're not here to watch the match per se, rewatch it. Just want to, run that by you. But at the same time, we are gonna like freeze at some points and everything as well. Can you tell me what the Tom Kaczynski is from?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot with that one.
I have no idea. Tom.
Yeah, feel free to look it up. Off the top of my head, I honestly don't.
It's a Top Gun reference. Oh my gosh, Iceman is Tom Kaczynski. I know.
Iceman. Okay.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
All
right.
Hey, I honestly didn't know Iceman's actual name. He was just Iceman.
Forever Iceman.
Yeah, like, how could
it not be Iceman?
I thought that was Iceman. Hey, that's fair. I mean, That's fair. I just love. I do get a little kick out of Mark's Mark's ever changing, ever rotating little monikers every match. I do like that.
Do you I had to ask, do you have any hot takes when it comes to movies? Like, I'll give you an example. I think Ferris Bueller and Tom Cruise's character from Top Gun are actually villains. To me, they're huge villains. Ferris Bueller is not a nice guy. He's an asshole. He's deliberately sabotaging everyone around him. He's openly manipulating people, lying to people's faces. He's like convinces his friend who thinks he's sick to get out and stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, helping someone out is one thing, but he made him take out the car. He wrecked the car.
It's funny.
He's 100% a villain. 100%.
I think a villain is like, so when you describe just all those actions, like in another movie with a different score and different angle and different focus, it makes sense. I had just read like a little opinion piece about how Cameron is the hero of that story. Like Cameron's the main character and the hero of that story. And I was like, oh my God. And I was just like, this is the interpretation. This is the analysis of Ferris Bueller's Day Off I never knew I needed. And because it's one of my favorites. Like, it's one of my favorite comedies. Definitely my favorite John Hughes. And it's for me personally. And in spite of that, like, I still never saw him. I can't call him the villain because I just don't see him as a villain. It's still such the ultimate fantasy, like the ultimate high school fantasy to me. I'm just like, it's okay. Like, like it's a fantasy. It's so a fantasy. It's so not anything that could possibly happen in the real world. I didn't get that mad about anything that did happen. I wasn't like, there needs to be consequences for this man. What is happening?
Consequences.
Watching it later, because I watched it a handful of times during quarantine. I'm like, damn. I'm like, he is just so reckless with Cameron, with Cameron's like best interest. And it just like that, I think that's the case that I could make the most for him being a villain. It's just the disregard that he has for like, his best friend's like mental well-being and like maybe physical well-being, because his father might actually murder him.
There is like a real sense of genuine fear there. Like, but let's face it, some days when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I just don't want to move. It's just one of those days. Let me just take a me day. Okay. Yeah. And if your friend is being like, nah, bruh, come follow me around the city of Chicago, Abe Roman, doing all that stuff. Let's interrupt the parade. I would be like, seriously, be like, dude, come on, let me just have a day. Just one day.
Oh yeah. If I were him, I would have been, a scene at the end when they're just like sitting at the pool, like they're just like in the hot tub, just like, oh, yeah, we're chilling. That would be what I would have done with the entire day. That would have been me thinking that I was like a badass, like playing hooky.
That sounds amazing. Yes, Danny, save Ferris. Okay. And thank you, Canada Rocks. You're like the only person that actually, aside from Marisol, that actually agrees with me. A terrible friend.
No, I mean, like, I can agree. Like, I can agree with all the points that you're making without animosity, though. Like, he's still not the villain to me. Like, every time I see his smug ass smirk in that movie, like, especially in the restaurant, because we all know like the host just deserved it. He just deserved it. I'm
not kidding.
I was always just like, oh yeah, Ferris is getting the better of people. But yeah, the one part where I'm just like, yeah, no, this is kind of messed up. He is kind of the villain. Was all the times in the movie that everything was at Cameron's expense.
Lick your palms. Like, are you kidding? Openly manipulating everyone, his family, his friends, the school.
He loved, he loved Sloane.
Yeah,
he wasn't wrong. He wasn't bad to his woman.
Like,
That's a big thing for as ladies. That's a big, as for me as a lady, that could be a big deal breaker on a character in a movie.
That he loves her,
or how the relationship is, how they play the relationship with the guys in the relationship, how he treats his significant other.
Well, I feel like he manipulates her as well. He honestly, to a certain extent, I mean, like watching him, he is constantly making decisions about what he wants to do. It's never about what the team wants to do, what she wants to do. He's never asking her like, "Hey, what do you want to do today? Hey, are you okay with me even taking you out of school? Because who knows, you might have had a big test today that you were really studying for, and then you just wanted to get out of the way. Like who knows? Maybe she actually wanted to be in class. I mean, like I know me being like the nerdy little person that I was, actually somewhat liked school, but still, there's never that back and forth where it kind of shows that it is actually an equal relationship. He's just all. I felt like he was always telling other people how they should feel, what they should do. Mm-hmm. It was never back and forth. But
part of the fantasy, part of
fantasy. Maybe it is just like legit a fantasy. It's like up there with like Ridley Scott's Legend and
might as well. There was like A Princess Bride and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like that was fantasy as a kid. And that I watched that movie with those goggles on. And so everything is just cotton candy to me in that. I love it. I really love it. Somebody did have a question about Ghost had a question about my theme song.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, yes. I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Ghost says, if the Schmodown was still using copywritten music like last year, great question. What song would you have chosen for your theme? I do know someone earlier mentioned like the Law and Order theme. That would be fun.
That would be funny, but a little too on the nose for me.
What?
I mean, no, it would be fun. It would be fun. So this one I chose before so I do have an answer to this, and it was before I really honed in on Lady Justice, but I love this soundtrack. I love this score. So I really wanted this to be my theme song, and I was so hell-bent. And then they changed it, and then they changed the themes, and I was just destroyed. But it's a theme song from Attack the Block. And it's like I think it's like the first track, not the first track, but it's like the theme when all the kids in the gang, when Moses and his gangs are like walking, when they first like beat the first alien and they're walking back to the complex. And the score is by a guy named Basement Jaxx. And there's this really, really, really sick theme that plays in like 15 minutes into Attack the Block. And that is what I wanted to be my theme song. I just thought it was so dope. And I loved it so much. And it's got this really just blaring, just reverberating bass in it. And it's kind of just like slow enough so you kind of like walk out to it, and
that's yeah.
It's I loved it so much. And that was absolutely my number one pick. It was just kind of like a searing, like intimidating and like booming, just kind of like booming, like that kind of intimidating score to come out to. And that was my pick. Funny he mentioned Cowboy Bebop too, because that is my Tank is my ringtone on my phone.
Oh, no, I love Tank.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to hear something funny?
Tank is pretty killer.
At my wedding.
What?
I'm not kidding. I did. I did. I also my father-daughter song. There's a video of it somewhere. There was a He-Man remix of. So I run and look outside, and I take a deep breath, and I get real high.
Oh, Five Non-Blondes. The What's Up song?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, and it's just the He-Man remix of it. And my dad and I, we danced. That was our father-daughter dance.
Nice.
It was ridiculous. It was no regrets, Okay, now I had to ask, going into this, personality wise, obviously big personality and everything. Was any part of it like distracting? Did you have to be like or anything as like with her kind of doing this as an opponent?
You're saying, I'm sorry, you're saying,
Oh,
sorry.
shnikes. I can't hear you. Oh,
Did I
sorry.
mute?
That's me. It's probably me. I hope it's.
Technical difficulties?
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me.
I can.
Oh, that's awkward. That's really awkward.
Can you not hear me?
Weird. I have no idea what it did, but okay. Oh.
Can you still hear me?
Oh my Lord. Okay, I have to know.
What's up?
When you saw this, did you, I don't want to say, did you like, did you think, holy shnikes, this feels like what is happening right now? Like, what was your, like, when you were watching it, were you surprised that kind of back and forth, this kind of storyline? Oh my gosh, I love this Bonnie, Shannon storyline that they have going on. I'm obsessed. Did you kind of see it for the first time? Were you prepped ahead of time? Did Shannon be like, hey, just giving you a heads up? Or did you watch it and be like,
halfway, kind of the answer is a little bit in between. Harloff did send a little prompt on like what he wanted me to say, like what like my angle was going to be, like my role in this, or not my role, but just like what like where he kind of, what level he kind of wanted the smack talk to be at for it.
Yeah.
You know? So he sent like a little blurb about that, a little sentence. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
The day before the match. But then when they started, like, I wasn't ready for that. With how spicy it got in there. I was just kind of caught in the crosshairs, and I knew it was more about, I didn't want to get kind of too embroiled in it, because I have to be, as the lady, I have to be as you know, as objective as possible, and just on the side of just, you know, just justice. This is not a grudge match. This is simply about justice. Like, you know, I'm here to right wrongs and take out the trash and expose. You know, if you gotta go, you gotta go. Nothing personal. You know, I don't care if you're, you know, what kind of competitor you are. If I know you, don't know you, you know, you gotta go. It's not personal. This is justice, and I gotta serve it. But to get kind of caught in the crosshairs with the feistiness between Bonnie and Shannon was intimidating. I was like, should I be on this level? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna let the ladies do this. I'm gonna let them do this, because they do it so well. Nobody does it better than my queen mother.
Well, she's such a great motivator that I've seen behind the scenes. I've heard that and witness firsthand. You know, she's able to really, because I remember seeing her in a spectacular when she was like low-key managing Mike, and you know, obviously we know how that turned out. However, I remember seeing her kind of helping him recenter, and her being like, you've got this. We've talked about the strategy, we've talked about strengths, weaknesses, we talked about, you know, all that good stuff. And you know, so you know, it was really kind of interesting to see that kind of dynamic, you know, behind the scenes. But you know, and I imagine you had a kind of similar dynamic going into this with Shannon.
Yeah, no, she was my kind of mental anchor in a lot of it, especially for my rookie match, because I was just, you know, I was a ball of nerves, and expectations just for myself, on top of the expectations that I knew that people would have for me debuting. And she focused me in a lot of ways. She's good at that. She honestly did. Like, she focused me in a lot of ways that weren't just like generic, like, you got this, don't worry about it. Like, like shake it off, don't worry about it. Like, she said some insightful shit. And really
we get that hashtag in, guys. Shannon said some insightful shit.
That's my professional term for it. That's
love that.
But yeah, and it centered me a lot, and was not throwaway encouragement. It is really helpful to have somebody in your corner like that, who is full of genuine advice with your best interest. I'm not going to name any names of other managers in the league, but I'm not sure that I would have gotten it from some other managers necessarily, just from what I've seen and how they interact. Where they could be saying what they're saying to any of their competitors, Very
customizable.
Yeah.
Like what Shannon's going to talk to you about is different versus Adam Collins, your faction mate, by the way. Thank you so much, Adam. Marisol is about to take down Korruption by storm. What's up? We're proud to have you on Korruption. Make way for Lady Justice. Just saying, I'm just so excited for you both. From the families making way. So excited for you both being part of the same faction. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you.
Oh, I cannot give enough. I just need to take a brief detour from talking about me to have an Adam Collins appreciation hour here. I just need to give a lot of love to my faction mate here. We're both in similar boats going into this. And part of what I said before about being like part of a family, he's a big person who's a part of that. Like, I've had an amazing camaraderie with him through all of this. He's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player with startling knowledge. Such a decent person, and he's one of the people like personally who has made this such an easy transition for me. And I cannot give him enough props. I cannot shout him out enough or hype him up enough.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
He's awesome. And I am so excited. I'm excited for myself, but I'm also really excited, especially in the time that I've gotten to know him, to see what's going to happen with him, to see, or for people to see just exactly what he's going to bring to the table. That's really exciting to be alongside somebody else like that going into this tournament.
Absolutely.
I cannot give enough love to Adam Collins. So, hey man.
Well, something I would love to see, honestly, I would love for there to be like a full-on actual corruption team, and it'd be like two family girls. So like you and Adam, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, can we make that happen? It would be, again, I'm just speaking it into the universe. Please pass on the message over to Shannon. That would be dope AF, please. I think it would be so much fun. Oh, yeah. So
I have my thought. We'll see. We will see where this goes.
Well, do you potentially see yourself in the teams?
Oh my God. I would love to be. I mean, I would love to be. It's all up in the air now. I don't have any answers as much as the next person does in terms of this. Would I love to play in the teams? Of course I would. Absolutely. Of course I would. But there's a lot hanging on it. There's a lot in the balance. And of course, I mean, my first picks are our two best players in this position. We want to put Korruption. It's about Korruption, and we want to put our best foot forward with the best opportunity. So I'm on board for whatever that is, whatever would happen. But yeah, my interest is just playing more and being more a part of this in whatever way I can be. If that's playing in a match myself, if that's supporting my teammates while they go forward and kick ass in a match, that's the place that I want to be, wherever that is. So, so
as long as you can get Korruption those wins, those points, absolutely, like you did, putting them in number 1 for sure. Okay, so we're getting closer to the end of round 1. You are sitting at 5-3 at this point, you know, and you're getting close to the end of it, getting closer with your you know, perfect first round. How are you feeling at this point? Are you just like feeling yourself? Are you like, calm down, don't be chill, don't like freak out? Like, how are you kind of feeling on the inside right there?
The whole time in this entire match, I'm just gonna say it now. The whole time in this entire match, I'm like, calm down, don't freak out. That's where I am the whole match. I mean, the entire match, even coming into this and feeling confident, you know, feeling less worried than I think I would have been against, frankly, a different opponent. Like it was still so much riding on it. Like in a bunch of ways that put more pressure on me, because people were like, oh, I was seeing some things saying like, you know, like, oh, she's going to knock Bonnie, you know, she's going to knock Bonnie the fuck out. And I was like, well, now I have to. Like, I was like, well, now, you know, oh God, if I do anything less than that, like in my mind, I was like, well, that's going to be a disappointment if I do anything less than that, you know, which is, you know, that's just inevitable, you know, I had that kind of thought. It didn't stay with me. It didn't get in the way of everything else, but I can't lie. That was a thought, you know, that was in my head. So yeah, so there was just pressure the whole time. But then once we started going, and once round 1, like here started going, I was able to be like, wait a minute, you know, like, wait a minute, I got this. Like, you know, like, wait a minute, like, I'm still nervous and I want to make sure that I say the right things, but, totally. But I definitely, if there's one thing that I don't have doubt in, it's my abilities. And, you know, that's where I get my confidence from, is just, you know, falling on the things that I know and what I love. So that pulled me through this. Really wish I had gotten this bonus point though.
Were you kind of hitting yourself for not knowing it, or did you, at the end of the day, did you just not know it? So I mean, like, having the guess that you made, solid guess.
Yeah, I knew it was wrong. I knew it was the wrong year. Mary Poppins came out the year after it. So I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't not say something. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, you're not gonna see a lot of from me, like, I don't know. Like, you know, you're not gonna see that a lot in my matches. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna give an educated guess. And that was my guess. Yeah, that was just a matter of not thinking about what the names of the songs were in the movie. You know, that just happens.
Have you? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen that movie personally, but I love that song "Never Enough." Oh, it's so beautiful, and that's the only reason why I know it. That's the only song that I really know, to be honest. So whenever "Never Enough," I was like, Greatest Showman. But that's the only. If they had not, went with another big song from that, I would have been like, no clue. So
yeah,
for sure. Well, we're going to be going into the second round, and now I'm not going to ask you to reveal your strengths or your weaknesses, but like you said earlier, the wheel is a huge deciding factor, and who wins and who loses, obviously, is arguably the most important round of the entire match, of any Schmoedout match.
Absolutely.
So
agree.
Going into it, how are you kind of feeling looking at the slices initially?
I felt...
Pause it so we can, when the time comes, so we can see like all the slices here in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt good. I mean, I won't specifically say which things, but nothing was, when I was looking at that slice, when it came up, I sighed, like I breathed a little sigh there, and I was like, nothing is out of reach here. Like nothing jumped out at me that was just like error, like red alert, like don't like like don't go there. Yeah, don't go down that road.
Let me pause that sucker real quick. Oh, shoot. Okay, so we're gonna see if we got some Meg Ryan. We have crap, I don't know the one next to Meg Ryan is.
Meg Ryan. There was Meryl Streep going around. Meg Ryan, Meryl Streep.
Okay. Spinner's Choice, Opponent's Choice, Tom Hanks, romance, Oscars. I can't tell what the others. I think that's
Oscars. Tim Burton. There was Tim Burton, 2000s, Oscars, and
I can't when they're red like that. I can't really. They're kind of bleeding together. I can't tell.
Yeah,
but regardless, it's a very diverse, lineup of slices for sure. There's some slices where I'm like, oh shoot, and other ones where I'm like, that's a good one where you want a few harder. You want one, maybe two directors. You want a couple of decades in there. You want some actors and actresses, but obviously you want a little bit of everything. Yeah, when it comes to a wheel, you don't want nothing but like actors the entire wheel. Obviously, that'd be
right.
10.
Yeah, you want a mix of like specific and I think just looking at the matches in general, the matches have been good about having like mix of like specific people or like a specific body of work and then a broad like genre, like a broad thing.
Romance.
Yeah. And what I thought was interesting about this wheel in particular, I actually think that this wheel could have been actually more diverse. I think that there were some definitely overlaps with this, which is why I was looking at it and I was like, okay. I was like, well, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan and romance, I was starting to see like the same kind of movies come up in my mind just looking at that. Like when I was looking at those and thinking about big things, they were already overlapping in some of the categories. And I was like, okay, like I was like, this might come up. Oh, dance movies was another one. But yeah. And then like other ones, like I think that this wheel actually had like some like it was almost like a Venn diagram. There were definitely some things that just crossed over there, which made me feel a little more comfortable going into round two, only because it was narrowing like what kind of movies I would have to pull from in my mind.
Yes.
So that's where my head was at.
Well, what do you think is easier, a genre or a decade?
This answer is going to change, I'm sure, from competitor to competitor, but it depends. And I think I was talking to you about this earlier when we were talking, that it comes down to like demographic, like your age demographic. And if you were like for me, if I get a decade that is when I was like a
90s,
teenager,
2000s.
Yeah, like if I get a decade that when I was like had the most free time and like was so into movies and then I had the most free time and was at like the height and peak of like absorbing and like being into movies as much as possible, that's going to be the decade that you have the most, any competitor I think has the most base knowledge from. So it would just really depend on that decade. And I think there are a lot of competitors that would be like, oh yeah, this decade, boom, like right there over like definitely a specific, even maybe body of work or something that they had to study, because the questions would be so broad and they saw so many things during that decade. They saw so many things and absorbed so much, were so actively like engaged in movies in that decade that they could probably like, things will just come to them because they remember when they were like, whatever. Like I remember when I was 21 and I went and did this. Just from your experiences as a movie lover growing up, you would know just things. You just pull things. You would be able to just pull stuff out of your butt for that.
Pulling a Mance. Like I know Mance. Steve Mance. What I love about him is that the way his recollection for movie release dates is ridiculous. So what he would do is that he would connect a movie to a time in his life. He would narrow it down to the month, sometimes to the day, and it's amazing to like kind of see him like recall it on the fly so casually. But he like movie release dates, taglines, quotes, to me is definitely are categories that I feel like are nearly impossible. Bateman has been able to do movie release dates for sure. But at the same time, sometimes it changes where you are. And I have a friend of mine, he lives in New Zealand. And so movies for him is very different for when he gets access to movies versus, here in the US. And, it's just not to mention when it comes to movie release dates, they don't really ask anything before like 1990, I feel like. Like they're not going to ask in what year was the Oscar winning rom-com Goodbye Girl released in theater.
Right.
Like they're not going to ask that.
No.
Maybe they'll ask something about when was The Matrix released in theater in 1999, but they're not going to go that far back because that's like ridiculous. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bonkers.
And that's fair. No, I get it. That hurt. I'll just say this about that
deal.
Another kick. Yeah, another regret is letting her get that steal. That would have been a TKO if I didn't let her get that steal. It sucks to like look back and think can't think about that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I had seen 8 Mile so long ago. And it's just not a movie that is not like I love Eminem too, which is like it's weird. I love Eminem, but just 8 Mile is a movie I saw and I was like I was like, bye.
I feel bad. I can't really.
I never revisited it. I never looked back on it. I never revisited it. I've never studied for it. And yeah, I should have still been able to pull that on multiple choice. I should have tried harder to pull that on multiple choice. Just what sounded right. Yeah, I shouldn't have let her get that steal. I let her back in the game with that, and that was unbecoming of the lady.
Well, honestly, in your defense, though, this is Bonnie's best match.
Oh yeah.
I feel like honestly, after watching some of her previous matches again recently, I was like, we can talk about how she lost and everything. However, she improved so much with this match. It came down to the third round, and it was such a great match. I mean, obviously, you win. I knew we were going to win going into it, but I was like, dang, Bonnie's actually, it feels like she's actively trying,
Bonnie put up 17 points.
Yeah.
17. And that's like twice as much as she's ever put up.
Exactly. So I was like, yeah, and she's kind of vocal about it, how she's like, you know what, I'm actually trying now.
Yeah. No, she was.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I respect that. So
I will give her respect for that. Like she did. I really do think that Bonnie really did, she's got the personality and we love her because she's like a lovable mess, and I think she made good on that with that match. But you can also tell at the same time that to I think the best of her ability, she really did try with this. Like she really did try, and she was so invested in it, and you could feel her just you could feel all her emotions in it because she meant them.
She's so expressive.
She did not care about this. She clearly did care, and she wanted to do well. And that really showed with this. And I'm going to give her props to that because I really, I wasn't expecting her to put up this much of a fight. I really wasn't. And I was I'm not saying I wanted it to happen, but I was also pleasantly surprised that it happened. I was like, okay, all right, let's keep going. I still felt confident in myself, but she definitely really did put up a fight here.
I was also very impressed that she did so well in such a hard category. To me, Meryl Streep is a very deceivingly difficult category. Like a lot of people go in, they're like, it's Meryl Streep. We all grew up with Meryl Streep. Who doesn't know Meryl Streep? Devil Wears Prada, Silkwood, Into the Woods, all these movies. But at the end of the day, she's done so many movies. That's and as a result, it's almost like a Tom Hanks, where it's like, oh my, you're like, I've seen Sleeps in Seattle, I've seen Forrest Gump in Philadelphia, I'll be fine. But so many movies in order to ace an actor like that, versus Anne Hathaway, who's technically has has made less than 20 movies, you know?
Right. Yeah. Once you realize that an actor's been around for 40 plus years, even if they're like the most famous one in the world, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, we saw her at the Oscars like 2 years ago, and we like, she's great and we love her and she's famous now. But like when you realize that they've got 40 plus years of movies that they've been in, and you're trying to answer questions about them, you're like, oh, oh wait.
So many. Oh my gosh. I can talk all day and night about how amazing Death Becomes Her is. My favorite Meryl Streep movie of all time. It's so good.
It's so good. I already have a love for like just Robert Zemeckis in general.
It's so campy. I love it. They embrace the weirdness.
They do. I love when Meryl does that kind of stuff in her movies.
And it's well, I actually, when I did a generals debate like months and months ago, I did a generals debate on what was the best comedy of the 90s. And mine, hands down, was Death Becomes Her.
Nice.
Like, if we're talking about practical effects, oh my gosh, don't get me wrong. Like, they didn't make, like, they made everything as practical as they could. The score is hilarious, done by Alan Silvestri from the MCU, which is fantastic. Robert Zemeckis was never better. And honestly, I still say hasn't been as good as he did that movie. But it's so funny, and it's so... they knew what they were doing. And Goldie Hawn and it was to me it was what's his name, Bruce Willis's last really great role. He hasn't really sunk his teeth into like a movie since, you know, like
he just hasn't done that kind of stuff. Like he had it before then, but like since then he hadn't really sank his teeth into comedy like that. Just playing that kind of character. There are a bunch of people coming, like I said, out of their comfort zones. Like Meryl, like was such just dramatic Oscar-winning actress for like the 80s and like the 70s. And then she was like, I'm gonna do something silly, and she nailed it.
You know what? Yeah, She-Devil. She did She-Devil.
So yeah.
My gosh, with Roseanne. Oh wait, what's it? Roseanne? Yeah, what's it? Roseanne?
It's Roseanne. Yeah,
Roseanne. Oh my gosh. And I will say it was clear when she chose some of those movies, she came off of making like these really heavy dramas, period films, French Lieutenant's Woman and stuff like that, that she was having fun with these next few roles, you know?
Oh, you know a little bit about
Sophie
Meryl Streep, Alex? Let me find out. Okay.
Well, it just felt like she went from a lot of these like heavy dramatic roles. I mean, like up until then, she did like nothing but period roles and dramas and everything in the 80s, like Oscar worthy stuff, Oscar bait. And then starting in the early 90s, she started movies that were fun, you know, there's no need for her to do She-Devil, like a romance novelist that steals like a woman's husband. Like, she didn't need to take that role.
She started doing more like B movie, like kitschy, like you said, like campy and kitschy stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely more fun, adventurous projects when she went into the 90s.
And she started really, I feel like she's very, people don't really talk about her in terms of comedy. And that makes me kind of sad, because to me, she's a really great comedic actress, but she just she's not really given that opportunity that much to do so, honestly. But I digress. Okay. So, Kami, this is actually a Meryl Streep podcast.
Apparently, yeah. Just surprise.
Little did y'all know. I just want to point out, guys, if you have any Streamlabs, that would be much appreciated. Got to keep the lights on here at C2A. Would much appreciated for sure. But yeah, okay. So Joe Rosario says Marisol's one of my new favorites. Ice water running through those veins. Ooh. What do you say to that? Do you feel like that persona cold assassin kind of getting to you a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. It's not natural for me. I told you on before when we were talking the other week before, like my inclination is to be so much of a face, and that's what I thought it would be. I don't. because
you are a rookie, so that makes sense. But
hey, no, everybody's got a different agenda. There's some rookies who love, and we've seen rookies plenty of times come in and want to be like come in and just want to be like no nonsense, serious, and be a heel. I really just wanted to be. I thought I would be like a force for good, and that's what I love. That's what I really love and take a lot of pride in about Lady Justice, which is because I kind of feel like I found like the perfect balance in between honoring my faction and being true to myself and what I wanted, like coming into this. Like, you know, like I wanted Lady Justice is you know, like I could be. It's not necessarily about being like a force for good. It's just being like, you know, or necessarily like for evil. Like it's morally ambiguous enough that like it can be really flexible. And I could it gives me a flexibility of the character to get into, to dig my teeth into maybe some of the more like, you know, the naughtier aspects of corruption and without saying outright that I'm like necessarily like a heel, like a villain or like something otherwise. But yeah, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I do know that, some people have told me that, you know, you can't be a face in a heel faction and vice versa. Vice versa, you can't be a heel in a face faction. And like you said, we haven't really seen what Lady Justice is all about. Yeah, so who knows? Maybe that's going to change in the near future. Lady Justice, as far as I'm concerned, I associate it with judge, jury, and executioner. So there is that kind of you're wearing a Wonder Woman t-shirt, which I really love and appreciate. But at the end of the day, if you're adding executioner at the very end, you might be a little cold-blooded, you know, for sure. So can you see yourself being a heel one day, maybe?
I'm absolutely maybe open to that.
Or something?
There's like, that's what I love. That's what I really do love about it. There's a lot of places that she can go. There's different places that you could take the character. Yeah, she could go. I mean, the lady can go full dread mode, you know, or yeah, like you said, like she can go like fully dark. She won't wear her white blindfold. Maybe the blindfold will go black, you know, like a couple matches. I don't know. But yeah, that's part of what's so exciting about it, is the directions that it can go. So I mean, I can suggest I want to be mindful and respectful of where the directions that the showrunners want to take the show. Of course, it's their say at the end of the day. But I can keep squeaking. I squeaked and I got Lady Justice, so I'll keep squeaking.
You know what? It's, you know, justice means different things for different competitors, different managers as well. You know, I think the ghost, you know, from the dungeon says it perfectly. You know, hey, justice is in the eye of the beholder. Lex Luthor thought he was doing well. You know.
Yeah.
Chandru is a full heel on a face faction. Great example, Kara. Absolutely great example. He is full heel, absolutely. But yeah, so who knows? That could change. But also, as your character evolves, obviously, as you play more matches and everything, that's really going to, your character's going to evolve with it. Is there anything in particular that you kind of hope to see, you know, playing, you know, in your upcoming matches? Like any kind of storylines you would love to be explored, or any kind of rivalries you would love to see, or anything?
Oh. No.
Do you want a rival?
I absolutely do. I would love one. I haven't considered one, though. Honestly,
Girl,
I mean,
can we pick out a rival?
I guess,
Let's pick out a rival. I pick an Arrival. Okay, at the end, we're gonna pick an Arrival, guys. Stay tuned.
No.
We're gonna pick an Arrival later.
I can't be the one. I'm not that person. Because I'm not that person. I'm not that person who walks into a bar and like taps me on the shoulder. It's like, hey, buddy. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna start shit.
You know what?
There's
time for change. Okay.
I need to actually play people and have like, you know, like some kind of back and forth with people first before I can have a rivalry.
You know, I remember a time in Orlando where that was literally the case. Okay. Where you were like, hey, tapping on the shoulder of Christian. Hey, you know what I am? Pretty awesome. You know what I should do? Schmo down. You'd be lucky to have me. And Christian would be like, okay, maybe I will. We'll see. You know, and here we are. So it did start, I have you know, with that tap on the shoulder. Okay. And it wasn't a bar. Okay.
Fair enough.
Calling out all this stuff. I'm not the kind of baloney.
As you shouldn't be. No. I respect it. I love it. I honestly haven't thought about a rivalry. I mean, it's my inclination to say like just who I think would be competitive should automatically be a rivalry. Like I know I have this match coming up with Oyama. And, you know, I have to be realistic. I don't want to shoot out of my league and be like, oh, I'm a rival for Oyama. Like that's pretty big. That's big talk for like a rookie with no track record out the gate.
That's fair.
You know, I don't want to do anything like that. I don't want to get too big for my britches over here. Or then like, if you do something like that, then the rivalry just falls apart. Like everybody's like, okay, then you become a joke really fast. If you don't make good on that. But yeah, you know, I would have to think about it a little more, but I could see a rivalry with anybody who I honestly think is like on my level. And I just really want to take it to them.
Well, good thing we're going to comb through that singles thing tournament picture. We're gonna comb through it, guys. Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm also one of those people that thinks, in order to be a heel, you need to win. In order to be a great heel, at least. But that's just me personally. I know a lot of people don't feel that way. I think you can be a pretty solid heel, you know, and still, whip them out. You know, personality wise, you can be great, but at the end of the day, you got to beat some people, you know. So that's my mindset. But do you have any like favorite personas or anything kind of coming from this season so far? Any like favorite characters? Excluding Brain and Hannah, so because Hannah and Brain, you know, is whatever. He doesn't count.
We don't speak of him here.
We don't talk about him.
It's okay. That's okay. I was I mean, you know, it's like I was saying before, like we do really respond to characters. We do respond to characters really well. I know the Barbarian is such a hot commodity. He's really big stock this year. And it's always fun seeing somebody that's pretty inspiring, especially when you're a rookie coming in like myself, to see somebody coming in and with the same kind of like idea and head on their shoulders. Like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to try to be as good as possible as I can in this, and also be like quirky and different and like do something interesting to make people get behind me as an interesting like character and everything. So he's somebody who stands out, you know. I mean, I just have the big ones that I guess everybody is saying. Like, you can't give enough credit to Lon Harris for his character work this season.
Oh my gosh, Lon! Oh my god, Lon is doing everything right now. Everything. Yeah. How is he doing it? I mean, he's over in, I thought he was in Paris or France or something, but clearly he's not. Is he in Michigan? Is he in Paris, Michigan? Is there a Paris, Michigan? I don't know. But yeah, he's doing some phenomenal character work on thing is, when you're also doing it, you have to do it on the socials and everything as well. His promos is everything. Oh my gosh, the one where he was sleeping. I never thought watching someone sleep would be so not creepy and funny.
Yeah.
But that was the case watching his promo.
Yeah, and this is also not biased. I don't care how it sounds, but I also like I just think almost anything that comes out of Kalinowski's mouth is pretty gold. I just think
100%.
I think he has some of the strongest just work. He has some of the biggest impacting character in the whole stretch of the show. You know.
Yeah.
Not just this year, but like, you know, especially last year, and the year before. Yeah. So I guess
I do think it is funny though that you are part of a faction, like a big personality focused faction. You're with Shannon, you know, she's queen, you know, she is the queen. You're with Mike, you're with Chance, you know, a bunch of you know, some other people as well. Thing is, they have so much personality, and yet you and Adam and, you know, Claudia Dolph, for example, you're so chill by comparison. Do you feel any pressure to kind of, I don't want to say amp up the personality, to be more energetic or anything on screen, or do you kind of or does Shannon like tell you, hey, let me take care of that, it's all good, you just be yourself and just get through the game and we got you?
So not at all. I don't feel any pressure at all. And I don't feel any pressure at all. And she hasn't even had that conversation with me. Like, she hasn't even need to set it, because I think I just naturally fell into that. We did talk about it. And I came to her with just like the idea that, like, you know, like I understood kind of in this is that I'm like a foil to them. And especially because it's just going to be like the interactions in the matches is just really me and Shannon. And I'm the foil to Shannon. And I wanted to make that clear, at least in my opening match, that, you know, like I'm her enforcer, you know, like she's going to do it better than I can. So I'm going to let the queen do what she does best. Like I've said before. And she's going to like spit fire and throw those daggers. And I'm just going to be the muscle in the form of a competitor. You know, I'm going to do what I have to do. And that takes the pressure. That takes the pressure off of me to, you know, I still want to be charming, of course, but it takes the pressure off of me to try to, I guess, whatever, steal the show as it would be. That certainly takes pressure off when you're a new competitor coming into this.
Totally. Especially, you know, for your first match. You know?
Oh yeah. When I'm just sitting there like, yes, I'm ready to answer questions. Yeah, I'm just tapping the mic, making sure it's working. Yeah. I mean, that I'm a more nervous person, so that was going to happen. Especially, it could happen with anybody, but especially it was going to happen with me. So I welcomed that. Shannon being Shannon, and I'm just like, yes, what she said. Let me answer some questions. Here I go. You know, like I just I come in and, like you said, like judge, juror, executioner. You know, I was just to business. And that's kind of that's where I wanted to be, and that's kind of where I want to go with this. You know, have more fun with it, of course, obviously. And I'm going to have more fun with it as I get more comfortable and as I grow and I get comfortable being in front of a YouTube audience. I don't know. But
you're technically in front of one right now. So
yeah, that's fair. I just feel like I'm talking to you, but yeah, no, there's peeps in here, and I get it. But yeah, that's still gonna be a transition for me, whether it's my first match or like my fifth or sixth. So.
Absolutely.
So,
well, it was your first match. It's out of the way. It's over and done with. The ending score was 19-17. That's not a slouchy match. That's definitely a match. That's a high scoring singles match for sure, especially for a rookie. So, I mean, like, what are some of your big takeaways? How do you feel confident? Do you feel more nervous now that you're going against Paul? I mean, like, how did you feel after that?
I felt great because I won. I felt, everybody has their own expectations for themselves. I am proud of myself for accomplishing what I accomplished. Do I still have my own expectations for myself? Absolutely. That I still want like a TKO? Absolutely. And I, at the same time, like putting it all in perspective, it's a combination of all these feelings at once, and settling on it. I put it in perspective, and I recognize it like it was a positive thing, feel good about it. It was a positive outcome. It was a good start. It was a good start, and go with that momentum. And that's really where I'm trying to take it forward. That's what I'm going to take it into the next thing. Is it stop second guessing, stop doubting, be critical of yourself fairly, but don't let that be an anchor. Like, don't be a chain around your ankle. Like, don't let that be take those and use those to tweak and make you stronger and better, and be aware of possible things that could be weaknesses, but use those as fuel to your fire instead of, shackles, like I said. So that's a mentality that I have. I feel proud of what I did. And I only just want to build on that. I don't want to say like, well, you did good, so be okay. You did good.
Absolutely.
I did, but that can't be my ceiling, for myself. And that's a mentality that I'm taking forward into my match with Oyama. It's just, like you did good. Now fucking be stellar. All right. Continue. So
Yes.
that's where I'm at.
I do think you are going to be stellar. It's just a matter of time. You've shown that you have so much potential. You really do. And at the end of the day, that is not only ideally you want to go out with a win, but also you want to show the potential that you have as a competitor, that other competitors and managers take notice, and they're like, okay, this is someone we need to keep our eye on in the future. Absolutely. And to also continue your Schmoedown career. I do want to go into the Streamlabs. Thank you so much. I apologize for getting to these so late. So thank you so much to Danny for bringing it to my attention. I apologize. Canada Rocks donated again. Thank you so much, my dude. Christian just called you a star on the rundown. Ooh, love that. And said he's looking forward to your match with Oyama the most in the first round. You have gotten a great reception from your first match. Does that make you feel at all nervous? I know we just kind of dove into that a little bit, but can you elaborate that on a little bit some more?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Of course it does. It does.
Star. He compared you to Clark Wolf.
I mean, I have to earn that. Yeah. I have to earn that. Okay, of course, like, oh, starry-eyed emoji, blah blah blah. But I have to earn that. I really do. It's flattering, and that's definitely fuel. But that's not for me to go and be like, people think I'm great. All right, cool. No, I have a responsibility to earn that, it's part of, oh God, am I about to quote Spider-Man here? Okay. But with, there's a great responsibility that comes with this. I'm not going to completely quote it. All I'm going to do that's going to fuel me in all the right ways to be worthy of anything that somebody might have said, just to not give any reason for anybody to say then, like, yeah, like over the way that the internet and the will do. Just people are quick to throw out the overrated, kind of stuff. The second somebody lets them down in their own mind. But yeah, so that's a personal commitment to myself, to the fans, to the people who have believed in me and taken a chance and given me this opportunity to just make myself worthy of the support that I'm getting.
So that's my objective, and that's pretty good fuel.
Yeah, it definitely adds an extra layer of motivation, for sure. Now, Patrick Harden, thank you so much for your very generous donation. We really appreciate it. Are you disappointed that you didn't get to have your victory interview with Jen Sturger? I know I feel cheated. Frickin' Rona. And that was exactly. I'm actually saying exactly the way he said it. Frickin' Rona. Apostrophe RONA. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much, by the way.
Oh, no, totally. When I was like, I'm overdue. I mean, that wasn't just like empty words. Like, I'm overdue. Like, the week that like they shut down for Corona, I had my singles debut match scheduled. Like back in March, like it was about to happen, and I was so excited. I had my flight booked to LA. I was so stoked, and then it just got whisked away. And so I've had this mad itch for like 5 months, man. And even just that, like, just more opportunities to be the character and really embody Lady Justice. I feel like I would have had an opportunity to really, really, really bring her home and really fully like introduce her, and to get to be in Jen's like amazing company and just talk with her and bounce it off. Like, like even be able to just like have that would have been like a more like validating, validating initiation into this Schmodown universe. But so I definitely have a soft, just a,
I mean, it's at the end of it's Jessica Sturger. I mean, come on, it's Jessica. Jennifer, it's Jessica, whatever. Tomato. Come on now, guys.
Disrespectful.
I don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me. I do want to give you guys a heads up. We are going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. So if you have any final questions or anything like that, please let us know in a Streamlabs. I have it ready to go. I definitely won't sleep on it. I promise. Or you can send in a Streamlabs or Super Chat as well. But yeah. Okay. So in the meantime, let's pull up that singles little picture real fast. Okay. We're gonna look at some pictures. Okay. So you're down here. It's official. It's happening. You're playing Paula Yama. Now combing through a lot of these names. What competitors would you love to have a rivalry with? Like personality, back and forth, like a real life friendship behind the scenes, but on screen you're like at each other's throats. So
oh God.
There's a lot of people.
There's so many options.
And this isn't even like the full list of competitors. This is just a singles tournament, which is crazy, Right. Now, I can see one or two names personally right out the gate.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Well, right out the gate, like I said, I'm just saying off the top of my head because of how fun she is. Like, you have to go to a big character if you want a big character event, like a rivalry. And I was just thinking of Stacey Howard right off the gate.
Oh my gosh,
it would be so fun to have a rivalry with Stacey Howard. She's some of the best character work in the entire show. She's not in the singles tournament, but yeah, which is already an injustice in and of itself. But but yeah, that would be so fun to be in a rivalry with her. That would be so much fun. In the singles tournament,
I can pull it back up again.
Oh.
Well, while you think on it, let me pitch you.
Yeah, tell me what you're thinking.
Actually, pitch you two names.
Yeah.
The first one, if she won the first round, I can easily.
Are you about to say Rachel?
No.
Okay.
She was actually my other person.
Okay.
But Miss Perry Nemiroff.
Ooh.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. You're like Lady Justice and everything. That's awesome. You would be going up against the Miss Horror Thriller movie, like herself. You know, she's
Mhm.
all about the dinosaurs and everything. So you guys, and she's like ultra competitive by nature. She's like super cool and really chill and everything in real life. But I can easily picture that dynamic where you guys are being like low key being nice to each other, but you're like, I'm gonna cut your throat. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna bathe in your blood. But at the same time, only like schmodown version of that. Okay, you know, you're not like that gruesome, because that was a little
No,
bit
of
much.
course.
I'm not lie, but that was a bit much. I apologize, but I can easily picture that. Personally, I think it would be so much fun. I just want more Perry Nemiroff. I think she's fantastic and she's so cool. But also Rachel, she's so great with personality and promos and everything. I can easily get like picture her with any rivalry. Honestly, she's phenomenal.
I love both of your answers. The number one, just to talk about the first one, Perry. It's funny because that was one of the people that I was gonna say on there, even just because of course, because everything you said. But I would dream, and I'm gonna petition for it next year I want to face her in a Jurassic Park exhibition match. I would go toe to toe with Perry in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park match with you, her, and Cody Hall. Give it.
I mean, I guess after this year, we have to bring the Barbarian. That was impressive. I was still impressed by the Barbarian, but I've watched both Jurassic Park exhibitions, and I've been like, if anything made me want to join Schmodown, it's the Jurassic Park exhibitions.
Good.
And it's always Perry who is the one who's like, that's the one I got to take down. Like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, that's my alien. That's my alien. Like, I just have to. So that's maybe like a little personal rivalry, maybe brewing in my heart, just because she's excellent at something that I'm excellent at. And so I would just want to just like figure out who is the best. So that's an easy, for reasons unbeknownst to anybody except for me over here. But that would be a reason why I would like to I could see myself with a rivalry with her. Rachel, only because I love Rachel so much. Rachel's so awesome.
She's so cool.
So cool. It would be the complete opposite of how I feel about her in real life. But like you said, like coming from somebody who I know is just so committed and so passionate about it, I know she would go ham. I know she would go all in, and I would trust and feel confident, that we would make the best of that together. Like we would make beautiful music together, if we ever, and oh, hello. Hey, Judo. If we went into a rivalry together.
And
that's what
that would be pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I would love that. We have from the chat, some people say, yeah, that was Action Cat, but other people were kind of mentioning that Video Drew would actually also really be a really interesting rivalry as well. So the anarchy and chaos that Drew brings in combination with the justice and civility, so that'd be an interesting rivalry kind of dynamic. What do you think about that?
That would be very interesting. I wouldn't know what to do with Video Drew. I told you before, she's an anomaly, and for me to be like my stone face against her, actually that might be fun. Actually, that could be really fun. To be like another such opposites, because me and Bonnie were just such opposites. That might be another one of kind of those dramatics, or those that kind of dynamic where it's just the characters are just so opposites that you just want to see the clash of the odd couple pairing with that. That could be fun.
Yeah,
that could be fun.
I do think it's well, Drew in real life, she's so expressive, she's so funny. I actually host a show with her called So No Bias, and she's on all the time she just has such a genuine love, like her and Rachel and a lot of other people, they have such a genuine love for Schmodown. And she kind of learned about Schmodown a little bit later than all of us. Oh my gosh, my cat is like looking for some attention. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Okay, girl. What? Do you think she wants pets? I don't know. Maybe she wants pets. I can't tell. Does she want attention? So weird.
Always.
Are you okay? So we saw that also a little bit of the Justice costume situation with the dress, the blindfolds, and everything. Are you going to be the kind of competitor when everything is safe again to film in studio? Are you going to be one of those competitors that's going to be really into entrances with the cosplays and stuff?
Yes.
That was quick.
The answer is yes. Yeah, it was.
Are you already planning?
Yes, I have lists. I have costumes and lists. And I'm just trying to be economical about the whole thing, of course, top of it, of course. But I've said it before, one of my inspirations when I first started watching it and the whole thing was 6 Degrees, with their cosplays and their costumes, and they're getting into like a character every time they came out. And that's one of the first like really huge things that I really loved about Schmodown. And I was like, yep, that. And
in Harley. Yes, give it to me.
Oh yeah. And that's absolutely one of the things I thought about. Like one of my missions is like, if I ever became a competitor in this, that would absolutely be something that I bring back to it. That is kind of fallen off a little bit. Like just because as the league has been growing, like the interest of like the focuses have become in other things. I understand. Like I understand. I'm not like pissed about it. I'm just understanding it's kind of like a natural progression in the way things have happened. There's a lot that's been going on and the league has been growing, and God bless it for growing. I'm so happy that it did.
Right.
But like one of the things that I think got lost was like the cosplay aspect and the coming out, just aesthetically showing a love for movies when you come out onto the stage. And that's something that I'm all about. And if we go back, be optimistic when we go back to studio matches, knock on wood, I'm not going to be presumptuous. If I get some matches lined up for me when we go back to that, I absolutely have some ideas already lined up and ready to go, for character related entrances and costume ideas for that. Yeah. So we'll just see.
It's going to be so much fun. It's a matter of time when people start doing better and everyone starts being clean and wearing masks when we can finally, everything, I don't want to say goes back to normal, but at the same time, when everything kind of calms down, essentially, when we're a lot safer about everything going on, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to be wrapping up here in just a hot second. Marisol, where can we find you? What you're doing? How can we see what you're up to though?
You can pop in on my life, on Facebook, I guess. It's just my name, Marisol McKee. Instagram, pop up there occasionally. Marisol, at Marisol_Mariah, MIRIAH.
It's in the description box below, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and I've got a Twitter account, which is the same thing. But yeah, that's me. I'm just floating around. Mostly just, you can find me at my house watching movies if you want to talk.
Do you have a Letterboxd account?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do. It's the same thing. I do have a Letterboxd. Thank you for that, Alex. I do have a Letterboxd. It's also Marisol Mariah. I don't think any underscore. I'm pretty sure no underscore. But if you're on Letterboxd, come at me. Find me. Let's talk about movies. Yeah, Marisol Mariah.
I am gonna hold you to that for sure. I am just starting getting involved with Letterboxd myself. I'm in the middle of I'm having a supernatural horror movie marathon. I'm on movie number 20. It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. Yeah. So, but you can also find me, right here on Twitter at real_AlexMech on Twitter. But you can also find just the call to action page here in audio form and wherever. You can also hang out with me with John Roca, the outlaw himself, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Him and I dive into movie news of the day of the week, whatever it may be, whatever kind of tickles our fancy. And like I said earlier, when it comes to chatting with Video Drew, it's called Cinema Bias. We're really going to dive into movies that really challenge us, movies that we have never seen before, and we dive into our movie biases, why we have movie biases, whether it be towards a genre, a director, a certain style of film. And, we kind of find out why we have those biases, what we can do to kind of break those down and kind of get outside our movie comfort zone, so to speak. But yeah, Marisol, we would love to have you on board, by the way, to come on board as a guest, where you pretty much tell us what to watch, a movie we haven't seen, maybe, or vice versa. We tell you a movie you haven't seen to kind of break that down. So
that sounds like heaven to me. All right. That sounds like heaven. Sharing movies I love with people and getting back from them movies they love that will give me something new to watch. That is where I will be when I die. That's the description of heaven.
That is it. All movies, all day, every day. Let's do it. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Like I said, comment, subscribe. Please comment, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. And also give this video, a little thumbs up. We're trying to grow our podcast, and every little bit counts. We really appreciate everyone that does so, and so much. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Marisol, you're amazing and wonderful in every single way, and I'm okay. But anyway, guys, stay safe, wear a mask, and keep learning some trivia and watch some movies.
Thanks, Alex. Bye.